Hello, we're on the Gold Coast for Magic Millions Week. What a time of year it is. Tom Haylock here, joined by John Walter. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. It's about a soft 6 here, so yeah, we're better than the track at the moment, but I think we'll probably end up in front of the track. Let's hope not.
Don't mention the track.
I'm going to mention the track over and over.
What a week it's been. What have you made of it all?
Yeah, it just makes it hard, doesn't it? It just makes it hard for us, probably more than anyone. No, not more than anyone. Poor owners and everyone are in a bad spot. All the people who've got functions and stuff, but it's just tough viewing and tough decisions for everyone. And let's just hope they made the right one.
Yes, exactly right. For welfare purposes and punting purposes as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully that section of the track races well and everyone gets around safely. More importantly, how was golf this morning? How'd you hit him?
Yeah, actually, we played all right, Jack and I, versus the mighty Scoot and Lockie. But once we got to the putting green, there were a few issues at hand there. It wasn't. I think we physically putted the ball in the hole about 3 times between us all day, which is never great, is it? So, no, it was good fun though.
No, well, let's get to the Gold Coast, mate. They're still racing there. We'll touch on the feature, the 2-year-old classic race 7 on the card. Interesting race as it always is. Don't know if there's any stars here like potentially we had last year in a dominant favourite and a huge winner.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a 2-year-old Magic Millions like this. It's tough because you always get 4 or 5 horses, don't you, that sort of put up performances that are sort of standouts at some point, and then you've got to try and work out whether they've come back to their best or like last year Storm Boy, whether he can go on with it. And now this year, there's not really anything, you know. You're trying to. There's a couple of decent, solid performers, and then throw in wet tracks, big field horses that haven't seen any of that yet. It's pretty tough, and at least we're getting. We'll probably get 6 or 7, 8 to 1 the field. Sort of bet fair at least. So that compensates a little bit, and you can go wide, and that's probably what I'll end up doing.
Good. Well, we're getting your first 4 numbers in the app as well, potentially for the first time this week, which is fantastic. So let's run through who you like.
Yeah, first four. I've got to remember who I think of the first 4. But yeah, I think it is 5. So Gallo Nero brings that Sydney form. The second horse there was a call. It was very unlucky not to make the field here. It probably would have started favourite if it got in. So I thought it had the best setup. It's just sort of sat outside leader first start, and then last time sort of had the soft run behind a slow speed. So third run in, up to 1200, soft draw. It's got sort of a lot of ticks, whereas as we're trying to sort of sort through them, he looks like he handles wet, so he's on top. Labella Boom similar, but it's got the form up here.
Just on the wet track.
Yep.
Expecting a fair bit of rain, so you are doing your form for a wet track?
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like everyone tries to guess, don't they, with forecast, but it's just the forecast looks like it's sort of nearly 24 hours solid rain. So it's going to have to be a long way out for it to not be seriously rain affected. And by the time it comes to this race and we get, as I said, like new ground, you'd expect it to be fairly chopped up. So definitely set up in that manner. And that's why sort of Labella Boom's got a 1200 metre win up here, which I think is important. Not too many horses in this race have seen 1200, let alone performed at it. So it's right up there. I think Gay's horses in both races are going to be advantaged because they're going to be up and out of trouble. I don't think you want to be in amongst the kickback if you can avoid it. So the Playwright, who I don't really think's any star, but third up for her. It poked along the other day. It'll get up there and sort of poke along again, and then it's a big price. And then sort of Invincible Woman, who's the Melbourne horse, X Factor, trialled really well since the win, and sort of Memo, but it's drawn 1. I think that's going to be very difficult. If it didn't run against Gallo Nero, it'd probably start $3.50, $4 favourite off the Wyong run, and now sort of 1 gate and a bit of a forgive there. They're the 2, sort of that I tossed and turned with the 4th position. So I end up with Invincible Woman, but Memo not far behind.
Yeah, I like Memo as a horse. I haven't done enough form to comment, and I really want to wait till race day, so it's pretty hard this far out. But you've got number 2, Gallo Nero, on top. Let's head to race 8, the 3-year-old race feature. I think it's $2 million, incredibly. We're racing for some good money up here on the Gold Coast. Who are you with?
$15 million race day or something, isn't it?
Incredible.
It's insane. So, yeah, gone completely wide here just because, again, a lot of these horses, different stages of preps, there's no stars for mine. There's a couple of horses that might be handy in time. Snitz and Over, I think it's at like 5th up first prep, but $6.50 for it. Jewellery's been really good at both runs back. Draws gate 24. Yep. It's the sort of $7. I've gone sort of wider than that because I just feel it's going to be pretty chaotic coming to this race. I'm a monstrous Bohemia fan, but second up, 1400, again drawn I think like 23 or something. She may get to a silly price late, so I sort of threw her into 4th spot just because I expected to get out. But again, I think Gay's horse Cottagio is going to be up and out of trouble. It was sort of 6 weeks between runs the other day, and I thought it did enough, and Timmy will definitely head forward, and I think that's going to be a good spot to be on this track. It's like 30 to 1 or something. I couldn't quite believe the price when I looked at it. There's
Get through the wet?
I think it will, and I think it's sort of heavy placed, and it just even if that track's not that heavy, I think it's sort of more the kickback and the slop that they're going to be shooting back in the face of the others you're going to want to avoid. So I think being up there is going to be a big part of sort of handling it. I think there might be some big margins across the day.
Absolutely,
and we saw a similar track I think a couple of years ago where it'll be interesting to see how it does play, because you sort of had to be up and in and then off it. So yeah, at least they get the options, Gaze, when they're up and out of trouble. The local horse Street Chase, similar. It'll be sort of just in behind Gaze horses here. He just keeps trying so hard. Starts 20 to 1 every time he goes around, but I couldn't find any knock on him, and he handled 1200 last time. I think he'll sort of step up here and handle this. There's a horse that was very green behind Give Me Space called Hella Fast. It landed in a good spot last. I thought the race was over, and then it sort of threw the race away about 4 or 5 times. It was only beaten a length. It can sort of poke there. I don't know if I had it in my 4 with you, or I think I sort of went the other way around.
Yep.
Dance to the Boom. So these are the 5 anyway. Dance to the Boom is the one from Sydney. Björn's horses obviously just
went up here for
running
fun.
through brick walls. They do, and that's it. So they've been doing the job in Sydney, and then Shalailed, wasn't it, last week? Gapped him. Has been going okay in Sydney, but if this horse takes another step forward, and sort of came from last at Wyong first up, and then the other day set outside a slow tempo and out sprinted him. So this horse can be very adaptable. I think it's drawn nicely, sort of middle of the road to sort of handle, sit wherever it wants to.
Yep.
And and then Bohemia is this. Anyone who saw the win at Wyong, they did put a bit of speed on for it, but this horse has got a bit of an X factor. Stable, tricky to catch, old Lee Curtis, but I think this horse is their pride and joy, so they would have put everything into it. Just had a nice little clean out trial, first up to second up. Not much of the horse, so I'm not too concerned about fitness. I think it'll be okay. It's just probably it probably wants the drier side of heavy for sure. And then you got sort of Give Me Space with Snits and Overtures, which you talked about. It's just
deep
price wise. Yeah, it is a deep race, but there is value in that one. Whereas the 2-year-olds, well, I honestly think I wouldn't be surprised by any result in the 2-year-olds at all, especially if it gets to heavy. I think it's just it's going to be pretty nasty. So yeah, the 3-year-old I think is a little bit more predictable, a little bit more value in it, and the 2-year-old, don't be scared to sort of follow your own thoughts there, because I think if you find an angle, you'll get a price it'll be worth having a shot at.
So the 3-year-old race, $3 million. You've got number 4 there, Cottagio on top. You're making him a bet at the moment at the current price. You happy to be with him?
Yeah, happy to be with him. He's those on paces. I've got no drama with sort of not piling into, but being with early.
Yep.
And then just trying to sort of pattern wise, probably the Bohemias, Give Me Spaces. If it's sort of down the outside fence, they come into it a little bit more, and if it's tough to lead. But I really do feel like being up and out of the trouble's going to be pretty handy there on Saturday.
Yep. We head to Sydney, and I know you're keen to play. I say Sydney, but it's not actually really
close.
Sydney, is it?
Yeah.
Wyong. We've got a 10 race meeting at Wyong. I don't think that's ever happened before on a Saturday. What's going on here?
Yeah, $500,000 race, and I can't really work out why.
Another 1,600 metre $500,000 race.
Yeah, half the field's first up, half the field is 7th up. So they're either cooked or not even having a barrier
not
trial.
Ready, so.
And they're racing for $500,000. So yeah, I can't work it out. It's obviously must be a requirement to have the turnover. It must be a play from that angle, which is fine.
Race fields, fees, and stuff.
Yeah, it has to be tied in there somehow. You would imagine, but. And then unfortunately it looks like they're going to cop a lot of rain too. So they're copping rain today, tomorrow and Saturday race day. Usually that means inside's very ordinary, but you can sort of be up there turning for home but off the inside. So it's a tricky betting track. It's not really designed for big fields and Saturday racing, which is the biggest trouble I think with having a lot of meetings at these tracks. But it is what it is, and we sort of pick the eyes out of it, right?
Start laying. Get on Betfair and press the pink button, because there might be a few upsets across the 2 cards. You are keen to play in race 3 though.
Yeah, that's it. So it's a highway which I sort of take them or leave at the moment.
Let me get this straight. a highway at Wyong on a wet
Well,
track.
the horses are
sounds
more
easy.
at home. The highway horses are at home at Wyong, right? And actually, the horse that I like got beat at Wyong the other day in a like a regular benchmark race, which is kind of what I like to try and find. Those horses coming back to highway grade for the first time. It is it's not a dangerous race, but I think this horse Ritsun is not a bad animal. Has handled wet tracks. I like it. Sort of doesn't step perfectly, so I don't want it drawn inside. It's drawn middle. Christian Reith rode it first up and really did give it a bit of a sore back and came late. But yeah, I think he'll sort of stalk midfield-ish or just behind the speed, depending on how well he jumps and sort of get to the right part, which is all important and should be really strong. I thought he was clearly the horse to beat Ritsun.
Love that. It's a good push. So
Yeah.
Ritsun there. Anything else across the country, or just happy to play Ritsun your best
Yeah,
at this stage and monitor conditions?
Absolutely. It's just it is diabolical. It is. I spent ages on the Gold Coast meeting and I spent ages on Wyong. Wyong's just horrific, especially with the wet track in mind. It's just, yeah, good luck there. And here, obviously, we've had the issues and we don't really know what we're dealing with. Yeah, it's a day where, as we sort of had talked about, happy to take 30 to 1 and 20 to 1 about horses for little investments early, but really waiting to see what we're dealing with come race day. I think if you want to pile into anything too much. The good thing about this horse Ritsun, as I sort of saying, drawn well, handles wet, it's adaptable horse. No matter what conditions it's presented with, I'd be very happy to be with it. You know, it's very unlikely it's going to be fence on fire, which would be the only thing against it.
Wyong race 3 there, Ritsun. John, we'll leave it there. It looks about to rain potentially here, mate. So
it doesn't rain on the Gold Coast, mate.
No,
Sun showers.
Sunshine State. You're a local man. You know all about it. Thanks for joining us on Laid Back with Betfair. John, thanks to you. Good luck with Ritsun and a couple of plays there at the Gold Coast, and stay tuned to the Betfair app as well, because we'll have some tips on there from Linton Chataway, your top fours as well. Full Gold Coast program. Thanks for joining us.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.